Gentlemen, here is the disclaimer. I'm not an investment advisor. I don't give stock picks. I don't give investment advice. You should never construe anything I ever tell you as me telling you what to do, because then you would just simply not be understanding that I am not doing that. Here's my disclaimer. Bunch of T3 stuff. We're, all right. Cool. All right. Awesome. Now that we got that out of the way, um, good evening. Markets kind of rough here, and I just want to go ahead and we were talking about some examples on the last video for the 2-minute strategy, the 2-minute strategy, we'll just call it. And one, we wanted a gap up. Two, we want to the first test of the moving averages slash VWAP is best. Three, I said first text. Three, you want to be above day highs. Now, before I used to say you want the first bar to be green, I might add that in, but I want to show you something. And very for and it can't be highlighted enough that you must actually want to trade the name. It's not obvious because some people they're going to search for names they don't want to trade just for the facts of executing the strategy. That's not good. Um, I was up almost a few grand, finished down little just under 2 grand there, so I took like a $5,000 swing today. Um, here's the important part. I lost it. I lost the money in Tesla. Not over here, but over here in this range. And it just ended up being a really weak stock, not working. Even here on Tesla today, when it started, breaking through day highs, the green takes red was not anything special here. And again, it clearly broke a rule that you have to gap up. When I say gap up, you want to be gapped up. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and scientifically give you have to be up at least 50 cents or 1.23% of the stock. You know, I don't know how to say, like, when it comes to gap ups, like, don't be an a-hole about it. Don't be like that person who's like, well, my $100 stock was gapped up 23 cents. It's like, you want to gap up with volume. What is a gap up? It could be anything. Dollar, $2, $3. The more the better. Use your own judgment. If you don't understand it because you believe I'm still being vague, I can respect that. Ask me, Mark, in the morning, is this a good enough gap up for you? What am I going to do? I'm going to answer your questions, right? So Tesla didn't gap up. It actually gapped down 4.5 points or somewhere around there. So already wasn't a candidate. Just going over the names on my list, right? Amazon did gap up. You did put in a 2-minute red bar that looked like death. You put in a 2-minute bar that looks like death. Still, again, I am going to continue to be tweaking these parameters as we learn them until they're just right. Right over here, green takes red, $4.18 move, beautiful, right? It hit the know your limit date on this bar, missed it by 3 cents right there if you can't see, but then it hit it there and then moved up as it was leaning into it, so it's legit. Next, what happens after the 8? Do you try it here again? On this exponential 8, right over here when it hits? No. Wait for the 21. If you were to do that, you got another $3.40 move. That could have been your entire day in Amazon. Now, why did this example work? Well, it's following everything here. You gapped up. You had the first test of the moving average. You want to be above day highs. And by day highs, I mean 2-minute day highs. I mean, obviously, if you keep making day highs, you're not above there when you pull back, right, to the moving average. You're never at day highs if you pull back to the moving average, right? I mean, so that's what I mean. I mean, 2-minute day highs. The first two, the first 2-minute bar high. Okay, just so we're clear. So in the case of Amazon, you want to be above $3,104.97, which is the high of this obnoxiously dirty red bar, which yesterday would have been a reason to ignore it. I'm tweaking it. Or as Boof would say, I'm tweaking it so I don't get tweaked. All right, so Amazon worked, right? Amazon worked. Next on my list, I had Starbucks. Now, Starbucks was a nice gap up. Me, personally, this name looks like shit. Because you're coming up here, you're pulling back to the 2-minute. You have these 14-cent bars, 20-cent bars. Not my cup of tea. But if you wanted to trade it, green takes red over here would have blipped by 3 cents and failed because you would have broke 11.26. I'm not saying you would have been in more for a bigger than a potential 3-cent gain. But you went 3 cents through the trigger and pulled back. That's just a straight up fail. Next time, green takes red right over here, and you get a big 7-cent move. But I have to have you keep in mind these are 15-cent candles, these are 6-cent candles. Can I ask you, here's another 6-cent candle. How many of you guys enjoy trading Facebook? Excuse me, Starbucks. How many of you guys enjoy it? Because it had news. That's why I brought it up. It's not about me. I serve you. I serve you. Believe me. I understand. I am fighting tooth and nail every day. I know this market is hard. I know some of you have been taking losses. I know some of you have been succeeding. What do? I try to bring the people who are succeeding to share what they're doing. I try to lift up those who are failing to try new things. I keep fighting to looking for new strategies. I keep fighting for additional news flow. We added in, we have a chief Picardian officer. We have a chief CNBC officer. We always had a chief rotational officer. Like we have people on the case. Okay? Not perfect, but does A for effort count in this business? It's the only thing that counts in this business is A for effort because this market keeps changing. And if you're not putting in the effort constantly, you'll never get the results. That's it. Right? I'm asking you if I'm right. Take it from somebody running rooms for 14 years. Believe me, I'm right. Okay? Believe me, I'm right when I have to say you have to keep trying, fighting, discovering, everything. So here's Starbucks again. Your little 2-minute green takes right here, goes through 7 cents. Not my thing. It didn't, but here's the thing, it didn't really tear your face off either because it doesn't really move. But all right, to Apple, another name. And if you don't know what I'm going through, I'm going over the names on my list. This morning, the Twitter names that were on my list. I'll just go ahead and copy and paste my tweet from the pre-market. So I'm not cherry picking any names. I'm just going through what worked and didn't. Well, you guys know I don't do that shit, but figured I would say it anyway. Here's Apple, a name on my list. Do you like trading Apple? I do. These 2-minute bars can be 30, 40, 50, 60 cents long. I like that. Look, above day highs, hits the exponential 8. Green takes red through 126.13. Look at that. Kaboom. 65-cent pop from low to high. Right over here. Boom. Look at that. Beautiful green bar and apple. Wait for the 21. 21 hits right over here for the first time. Green takes red, 20-cent pop. That's scalpable in apple. you will make your 8, 10, 12 cents on Apple calls with that move, especially increasing in volume. You'll make that. You'll make your, even if it's a 5 cent move, you'll make that. And there's nothing wrong with that. Then guess what? It hits the 21 again. It's not the first time, and look at that home run. Home run. Next was Square. Square gapped up. What are the problems with Square? Besides the fact that they accept Bitcoin. Well, you never really were above the first 2 minute high. So you would have gotten chopped around. Yes, you could have used my 3 red bar strategy with green takes red. It would have worked a few times here. I get that, but it's very hard. It's not smooth. It's a pain in the ass. What I realized about the green takes red is you're more likely to F around at the trigger level, when you're dealing with names that are not above the day highs like this. And also, what I realized is a lot of times if you gap up, obviously you gap up, you're trading above the first 2 minute high. And then what happens is you blip the 2 minute trigger. Then a lot of times you'll pull back a little. A lot of times, what I like to do there, sometimes I just sell. I'll just sell there. And then if it goes back up towards the trigger again, I'll buy it like it never happened. And then a lot of times after that, it goes. So I did want to point that out, just something that I've realized. And a lot of times I was holding it through those down moves, and sometimes it came back, and sometimes it didn't. So I want to share both sides of that story. But you have to want to trade the name. Then there's Nvidia. All right, here's Nvidia, another name on my list. Gaps up, goes ahead, misses the exponential 8 here. This is the first test of the exponential 8. And not only that, you're not above the day highs. I know that it worked here and it exploded, but never hit the exponential 8. It missed it by 3 cents. It's hard to see, but you actually missed it here by 3 cents. Over here is the first time you really hit it. And even though the trigger is sort of below the day high, you're still holding up relatively well. You're pretty much right there. Granted, I wish it was a little higher. You're not below the first 2 minute low. Let's put it that way, which would probably be a more accurate assessment than being above the high. Then you don't have to worry. You're not in a downwards trend. Green takes red over here, dollar gain. Beautiful. Beautiful, because you're front running it. You're front running it somewhere here. And look, boom, you're good. Right over here, hits the 21 for the first time. Green doesn't take red, green doesn't take red. Red, red, right over here. Green takes red right over here by 4 cents. Blips it a little. And if you front ran it a little early, it gets a little shaky, but once it goes through, it shoots through. Look at that. And it works well. Well, I was watching GME. And GME was one of the names I was actually looking for a short. But again, my strategy is only based on long, so I'm not going to be able to apply the 2 minute strategy because you didn't gap up. Just plain and simple. So another thing I like is 8 EMA on 2 minute being the highest moving average. I like that as well. Now, give me a name that was strong today on your radar. Go ahead. Besides for the ones I've mentioned. Micron, Rite Aid, Facebook, Facebook wasn't on my list in the beginning. It was afterwards. Netflix, DraftKings, Moderna. Okay, you know what? I sort of like the names you guys chose. CCIV, and that'll be it. It's just about showing you guys examples. So those look like names that I would consider trading. And you brought up Pinterest. Maybe not. But if you're willing to trade it, I'm fine. All right, so let's start. Micron gapped up. Very strong. Look at that. Exponentially hits here, green takes red, you get a 16-cent pop. You opened up down here and you shut up. Fine. Right over here, 58 cents. 58 cents. Right here, green takes red through 16, goes to 73, and then pulls back. Okay. So, not a bad look. Was strong and held up well. Personally, I did trade Micron today. I don't really like trading it, but it's a great example on Micron. Rite Aid, okay, you gapped up, pulls back. Green takes red right here, goes up 11 cents, pulls in, goes higher and lower. Kind of messy. Hits a 21 here, shoots up. Kind of a messy stock, one I wouldn't trade. Facebook, name I did and would trade. Gaps up exponentially. Misses it here, leans into it here for the first time through 28.31, and look what happens. You go through the level, you go through it, you pull back to 277.99, you pop up higher, you pull back and pop up higher, then you take off. A little bit flustering, but definitely worked. You can't make an argument that these bars were weak, right? Pain in the ass? Perhaps. Perhaps. Here's the first test of the 2-minute 21, 280.61 to 280.91. For what I do, that is very scalpable, this move right here. Name remains strong. Gets a little choppy over here. See that? Really, starts to fall with the market. Gets rather difficult. Here is the first test of the 55. And the first point, a green bar takes over a red bar is literally right over here, where it breaks 279 and hits 279.13 during lunchtime and falls back. Not the hottest move. Not the hottest move. And you can make arguments here that there were, potentially other setups that could have worked. With Facebook right here would have been a good example. So just to show you the exponential 8 again. Here was the first one that was a pain in the ass. It sort of just grinded up. And then it sort of fell through again here, and it sort of popped up again right here. Then it sort of came up again and then popped again and worked. Obviously with a lot of these, if you gave them a little more time, they would have worked better. But here's a good one I'm going to do for you now. Let's see what the 1 minute looked like as well on Facebook. Could have the 1 minute been better for us? Or should we just do both? Maybe it's better for you. Here's the 1 minute know your limit 8, goes through 277.09, home run on that 1 minute know your limit 8 right there. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful, right? If you're waiting for the 21, here's the 1 minute on the 21. Not the cutest. Not the cutest. It sort of blips down, and when it's ready to go back through again, then it breaks out. Just thought I would share both sides. Netflix. The ADMA on what time frame are you talking about? The 1 minute or 2 minute or 5 minute? 2 minute. So you mean while you're scalping the 1 minute, you're saying the 2 minute is keeping you in? Is that your point? Hmm. Interesting. 2 minute 8 keeps you in. Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting. Netflix. All right, so here's the 2 minute. The exponential 8 misses here. This is the first test of the exponential 8. Green takes red here. Great move. That's a $1.50 move through the trigger right over here. Pulls down to the 21. Green takes red again for a full 99 cents or a dollar move. Look at that. It's nice. It's nice. DraftKings. Yeah, see this one. This one I would just ignore because it's just too many moving averages on top of you. You're below um does a break of the 8 stop you out or a close below the 8? Good question. So DraftKings I would have ignored because it was just weak all day. Moderna was strong all day, or at least early on. So let's see what happened here. Moderna gaps up. You hit the exponential 8. Green takes red over here for a 15-cent move. Gets a little choppy. And then goes up. What do you mean by two breaks? Are you talking about a test and it breaks it while moving, or a close is considered a break? Goes through, comes back up, and goes back down through it. All right, so one break, and then the next bar breaks it down too. So after the first break, the bottom of that first bar is probably the stop, the bar that broke it the first time. Okay. So for example, in the Moderna right here, if you were doing the 2 minute in Moderna, your stop would be over here, and then you might potentially move it over here to this bar afterwards, right here. Is that a fair assessment? Okay. Interesting. Bar by bar. Interesting. So in a case like this, Kelly would have been able to stay in it. In a case like this, Kelly would have been able to stay in it. So you keep moving up your stop to the prior bar low. Wow. On Moderna, that would have been beautiful. Look. Whoosh. Whoosh. See Facebook. Oh, it would have been gorgeous in Facebook. No, these are all 2 minute charts I have up, Mr. Doctor. Interesting. So what I might do. So I'll tell you what I'm thinking of doing. I'm thinking of just taking the size I take and holding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 contracts with a stop at the prior bar. You got to tear down. Yep. Interesting. Let's see CCIV. Yeah, I mean, see when it hit the 8, it was below day lows. Yeah, not my thing really. Yeah, you could have scalped it. Pass. That's a very interesting revelation that you just have a prior 2 minute stop. Pinterest too came through day lows, and even though it worked, it's just kind of suspect, you know? Hmm. That was really helpful, Kelly. Trade desk right over here. The green takes the red. You could ride this thing up. Nice. Green takes the red again. You could ride it up. Right. I mean, I'm sure he's actually watching the price of the stock, and it's a 2 minute chart, so he's not really worried about massive time decay. Interesting. I found that I found that extremely helpful. I found that extremely helpful. Maybe I just have to tap into my feminine side. Maybe that's what we have to do. We have to tap into our feminine side. Just a little. Just a little. I'm not saying like full on, but like just a little. Like be a guy, but be a woman part time for like just a little. Let's see if we could write out some of these beautiful big movers, like some of these ladies do. It's just amazing what these ladies do. Boof's like, nope, can't do it. You can though, Boof. Trust me. You take 10 contracts, sell 9 of them. Seriously, it's like I can't tell you what to do, obviously, but that's what I'm thinking. Diarrhea. I know. I found that really useful. Buy 100, sell 90. Buy 10, sell 9. Buy 5, sell 4. Mm. Does anyone have any questions? Does anyone have any questions? I just want to wrap it up right here. That's the information that I needed. Um, does anybody have a link for my master video for Brian? Do you have access to the portal? You do have access to the portal, Brian. Somebody can show my latest strategy video for Brian. I'd appreciate that. Oh boy, the portable crew. Appreciate that, Praveen. Jero has kids, bro. Boof. He's not gonna go portable. Could you repeat what it'll take to tap into the feminine side? Um, Minimum of one share or one contract and holding it until a 2 minute prior low breaks or until it spikes up really hard. One of the two things. Yeah, I do, George. Right. I mean, you can mix and match the strategies, Nilin, as you would need to. Why did I decide to switch to the 2 minute? To try new things in an evolving environment. And I'll always try new things. I'm going to be doing new strategies for the rest of my existence. I'm not going to double down every single time a strategy doesn't work. No, I'm not. I am moving some money into Fidelity. Yeah. I'm not doubling down. I never double down. It's okay, Mitchell. There'll be more, I promise. Oh yeah, what's that, Eddie? Yep, that's right. No, I don't double down. I don't. I used to do it a lot when I sucked at trading. No doubt, Eddie. Have a good one, brother. All right. All right. I don't know if my money is going to clear. The wire went out tonight, so I'm not really sure if my money will clear. I'm going online and they're saying I have $0 in my account. So if it's funded tomorrow, I'll try it. I'll look in the morning to see if there's money in there. It's hard to say, Matt. It's hard to say. It's different is the best way I could describe it. Um, they gave me 18 cents a contract. They were trying to do 15, but never got me there. How many contracts are you trading, John? They said they would look at it on an individualized basis. I was fighting to get a preferable room rate and there was a lot of pushback. You could contact anyone, just call them up. I know they're idiots, Sufi, and I agree. That's, I wouldn't call that the modification. The modification for me is this. Um, this is my modification. If you want to incorporate what Kelly does, he does the strategy more effectively than I do. I'd bet on that. Hopefully, they should be able to match you. You could tell them, say, oh, I'm paying 25, 30 cents at Schwab. Can you match me? I look like I weathered the storm. Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate you, brother. I love you. I don't think so, Milan. What is the breakdown? I don't know how much stock I trade. I never look, but I do a lot of options if that's what you're asking. I don't know exactly how much. I could do thousands a day. That's good to know, Sufi. And Mark Fives with 2 minute green takes, red front runs have been working. That's good. All right. I love you guys tremendously. Happy trading, make money. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning on the Newsbeat live trading broadcast. Have a wonderful evening. Good night.